Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Go4Heroes NA Cup number 12. We're here with the Americas, and I hear that the European stream actually just finished up, and Tempo Storm with a phenomenal run. Of course, they are here in the ESL Majors, but this is the Go4 series, the feeder into that series. So we're looking for some seeding points, and we're looking for some cash. Right now, the Barrel Boys taking on the Rising Taquitos. If anybody was watching on Wednesday when we did the Team Heroes Hype Amateur League, you would have noticed the name the Rising Taquitos as they took second place in that one night affair. So interesting to see their first Go4 Series Cup, and they get all the way here into the semis, but now they're up against the powerhouse of the Barrel Boys, who are just coming off a phenomenal win up against ESV Wildfire. Let's take a quick look at what their draft looks like, as we're going to be going into this best of one for the semis. And winner, of course, moves on to face up against Murlocs Inc., apparently. So congratulations to them. Murlocs Inc. is waiting for whoever into the finals. And it has been a heck of a day. Cursed Hollow all around. It has been the Cursed Hollow 100% picks today on the FourCourtJester stream. But what can I say? North America really likes their Cursed Hollow. It's been a phenomenal map for the day. All right, let's get into this. Barrel Boys are going to be here on the blue. Rising Taquitos red. Blues getting the first pick, which means it's going to be the Sergeant Hammer band. This will be the first time today on this stream that we haven't actually had a hammer in this Cursed Hollow map. It has been Rhaegar bands, it has been Nazebo bands, it has been Illidan bands, but never a hammer. So we're not going to be playing Protect the Hammer today. And on the flip side, it will be the Rhaegar band. Very, very common in the high meta NA. And with the hammer out, the Barrel Boys, they came out with a really good Protect the Hammer last round, but they're the ones actually banning it this time, even though they had the first pick. So they clearly don't want to be protecting the hammer this round. Could it be an Illidan? Could it be an Uther? If they pick an Uther and the opposing team doesn't take the mouth, and well, it's going to be the Uther. If they take the Uther and the Taquitos here don't take the mouth or the Illidan, it's very likely to be that setup here for the Barrels. And but the Taquitos, these guys know what's up. They came second place in a 20-man bracket back on Wednesday in the Amateur League. No teams that are sponsored, no teams in the major leagues, but the Taquitos did a really good job. They have some really interesting strats. There's opponents. The Fairy Dragons, the Happy Fairy Dragons, actually signed up for the Cup today, but it looks like they weren't able to check in, or they're just not around. So the two dynamics of those teams when they went head-to-head was fascinating, to say the least. Some really interesting strats from both sides. But Taquitos got to figure out what they want. They're going to dip into their pool time here to figure it out. But again, if they're not going to take that Illidan, they have to take the Malfarian. If they don't take either, well, the Barrel Boys are going to have a good time. But it would also be, I think, very feasible right now to take an ETC or the Vala away from the Barrel Boys. Both are very big and common picks here on the North American side of things. And bam! Oh, I got one of them. It's going to be a Vala Tassadar as the first round choices for the Taquito. So they do take away the Vala for the big DPS. This almost guarantees Barrel Boys at least the Illidan, if not the Malfurion combo as well. But they also might decide to take the ETC. We saw last game from ESV Wildfire the Chen. Haven't seen a Chen in forever, but it was an interesting dive comp. They had the Illidan, the Malfurion, the Uther, and the Chen. It was good diving buddies, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for them in the end. There's the ETC, and there's the Illidan. So that is setting themselves up for a very nice front line there from the Barrel Boys. Now, the Taquitos, they have themselves that Tassadar. They're going to need a heals, and this is their perfect chance to snipe it out. If it's not going to be a Malfurion, it's going to be the Brightwing. We don't really see a lot of Lilies these days, and Brightwing has even fallen out of favor because of the recent bans, or sorry, the recent nerfs to him. So we don't really see him quite a bit, and there it is. That's going to be the Malfurion. So Malfurion and Tassadar for the front line here of Taquitos. They're going to need a tank. I'd suspect at this point it is Cursed Hollow. Stitches is a very powerful pick. He does a lot for his team, but unfortunately hooking into an Uther or hooking into an ETC could be ways to defeat it, but they take it anyways. Now the Barrels are going to be thinking, do they want to complete this double support setup, or what kind of a backline are they going to take? There's no tank available, and there's no Vala. That leaves us with a Nazebo, that leaves us with a Zagara, and really it's like those are kind of the bigger ones that you see these days. No real Rainers. Sometimes you'll see a Tyrande, but I don't foresee that here. Actually, well, you know what? Tyrande might actually go very well here. because the China will be an extra bit of heals, but it's also the shred, which is going to be great for the Illidan. But they absolutely need some kind of other range DPS to go with it, because they got the Illidan ready to go. That would complete the double support. That'd be the healing ward as well, because the Uther doesn't get one. And in terms of a range DPS, yeah, I suspect it to be a Nazeebo or a Zagara. Yep, it's going to be a Nazeebo. So Nazeebo now gets picked up there from the barrels. And, you know, Tyrande, as I said, would be a great addition at the end of this year. It's not going to be that. They're either going to need to complete out for a double tank. Maybe, you know, diving buddies like Chen, we just saw in the last game. Is actually really good. A little unexpected, but really good. You're not going to see a Kerrigan anymore. Sonya comes to mind. We've been seeing quite a bit of Sonya this patch because of various changes to the way that things work in this game. She has become somewhat of a popular. Was in Hero League last night, just could not kill the bloody Sonya on the other team. I mean, they eventually lost, but at the same time, she can be very resilient when she needs to be if she's properly supported. But, you know, they are going to take the double support. They are going to go with the Bright Wings. So not the best of choices for the boys, but when your options are limited for the double support and your front line, you got to go with what you got to go. Will it be a Blink heal or an Emerald Wind? I'm thinking more of a Blink heal at this point because they got more than enough control with the ETC, the Uther, and the Illidan. So what can the Rising Taquitos finish off with? They got a tank, they got their supports and a Vala. It's either going to be another frontliner like a Thrall or a Kerrigan, or it's going to be another range DPS. And who would be actually your choices? Oh, right. That's right. These guys absolutely love taking this. They are going to take once more the Lost Vikings. That is, I totally forgot that they do that. Yeah. Last match, the Party Foul, the other stream hosting out the NA here. They were actually doing some phenomenal things with the Vikings there. And yeah, the Rising Taquitos took that game very handily. 3-level lead over top of Infernus. So, Rising Taquitos, last picking the Vikings. Will this be a split and 4-man roam? Will the Vikings hold down one lane and then spread for the objectives? The teams are going to take a quick bathroom break before we actually get into it. So, could be anything at this point. But as I said once more, Cursed Hollow, 100% pick rate today. A lot of teams just trying to show their best here on the Hollow. This is a best of 1 to finals. Finals, of course, to follow after this with Murlocs Inc. against the Victors. So the Barrel Boys, they're in the ESL Majors. They've had multiple cups under their belt. Trummel, Blinks, Airho. Yeah, Airho. You know, these guys have been around a while. They've been working together phenomenally well. Kyr's Fury was the ETC last round. Is probably going to be it again this round if evidence dictates. But what can they do against the Vikings? I mean, there are a few ways that you can deal with the Vikings. I mean, Illidan could definitely get really into there. You can almost one-shot the Eric, especially with a little bit of help in terms of a stun from the Uther or the slide in there from the ETC. That's a really good combo. The Brightwing can just wear one of them down. There's no siege tank here. Not really too many people to outrange the Vikings. If you leave a Vikings up against a siege tank in one lane, well, the siege tank's going to win. Kind of the same idea with Vala, a little bit of the same idea there with the Nazeebo as well. Nazeebo can zombie wall one of the Vikings that you're not looking at, for example, and you know, he's just going to take him to town. Almost anybody except Olaf, and even Olaf can get ganked. So Rising Taquitos, with the hook, with the roots and the Vala, they could be doing a roam comp, but I suspect they're going to do a party lane, to be honest. I don't really remember a ton of roaming. At least early game for their comps. They don't have a Zeratul, they don't have a Illidan, so there's not really going to be a lot of roaming going back and forth. If the Uther and the Malf do go for the Conjurer's Pursuit, we'll likely to see them more in lane earlier rather than going around and doing some roaming. So we'll have to see. Barrel Boys and Rising Taquitos. All right, they're ready to go. Maybe. I don't know, 10 out of 10 says they're good. And yeah, here's the countdown. All right, guys, Barrel Boys and the Taquitos coming at you live here at the FourCourtJester stream for the Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 12 semifinals. Let's get this one rolling. The Cursed Hollow. Collect the tributes, curse your enemies, and of course, the forts and minions won't fire back. Been seeing some pretty decent games here today. I think our fastest to date has been 13 minutes. Not exactly a world record, but it's been some pretty solid wins for these teams. And I've been told that Cowdor actually hosted my stream, so big props to you, big guy. I know you had a big day of casting, what the Tempo Storm hype and all that, so have yourself some well-deserved rest, and welcome all the viewers from the stream, and those of you that stuck around. Oh, the Rising Taquitos. I'm really curious to see how far these guys can go because they had a really good showing. They said at the Amateur League, Team Heroes Hype. They're going to have another one on Wednesday. I believe I'm going to be hosting that as well. Not exactly EU time zone friendly, but you're more than welcome if you're up to come by and see some of the upcoming talent here in the competitive scene for Heroes of the Storm. On your left-hand side, if you're not familiar with them, these are the Barrel Boys. Cursed Fury, Erho, Blinks, McIntyre, and Trummel. They're setting up for a party lane and bottom lane. On the flip side, the Rising Taquitos. That gets me every time. It's such a brilliant name. Hans from League of Legends, if you don't know him. A Rise Chicken, Horse Pants, going to be taking the pajamas off for a spin. Belfray and Mistakes. And Mistakes looks like he's going to be setting up with the double support bottom lane to try to counter out the party lane from Trummel and crew. Right now, the Vikings are deciding to stay together. So it's not going to be four-man roam. It's not going to be a split. Looks like they're just going to hold down the mid, perhaps split a bit later, especially when tributes are coming up. But the Barrel Boys typically don't like to do early tributes. They'd rather actually go for some pushing power. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the case here. We're going to have to see if there is going to be a little bit of zoning going back and forth. One of the ways also to deal with the Vikings is you just don't auto-attack. If you're not pushing the lane, well, it's a little bit harder for them to soak. So you can see Cursed Fury is, well, with all three of them here, for example, he's just going to be biding his time and trying to keep them out in the open. The problem is, I don't foresee that we're going to be doing a lot of roaming. So Blinks, Trummel, and McIntyre, they're just going to hold down this bottom lane, try to keep Trummel out of trouble, and keep pushing this lane as forward as far as they can. Level 1 talents, Shadow Shield, Death Ritual, Conjurer's Pursuit, Block, and Bribe. Flip side, Composite Arrows, Psi Infusion, Conjurer's Pursuit, Chew Your Food, okay, slightly different, and Viking Horde, yeah. The Viking Horde is actually phenomenal on Vikings, especially if you split Soak into the 3 different lanes, but it's not going to be the case today, as they're just going to be holding down the one. Olaf in the back, maybe he was naughty, he's just putting him into a corner or something. Right, level 3s, going back and forth. It's not going to be much going on here early game, guys. It's really just going to be the laning as they go back and Cursed Fury. Wow, okay. They're going to leave Olaf by himself and the Vikings are going to come down. We're really looking to put pain into this bottom lane. McIntyre is actually going to find Horse Pants, who doesn't really react that quickly. Loses about half health on both of those Vikings, but now that they know that, you know, they're not mid, and I don't think Fury really has the damage to take down an Olaf. The extra Viking pressure bottom lane could be very interesting in terms of the pushing mechanic, but doesn't really look like we're using them much. Yeah, they're actually just going to come back mid and try their best to take down the battle count, but yeah, it's a wet noodle fight at this point. Tributes up. Looks like Stitches is deciding that he's going to abandon top. Erho, of course, can just phase shift into the fight, so a little bit of an experience lead will develop here for the Barrel Boys. Immolation, Gathering Power, Protective Shield, Echo Pedal, and Protective. This is very likely to be the cookie cutter DPC build that we've been seeing back and forth. The big question is, will it be Mosh or will it be the stage dive? We've seen both now today to fantastic effects. And with this 4-man, 4.5-man, I don't know what Horsepants is doing with those other 2 Vikings, but with this 4-man collapse on top of the tribute, it will go into the pockets here of the Taquitos. Brightwing, however, has been soaking and pushing up the top, and Fury has not really left the mid. So once again, that level lead has now developed. The Barrel Boys really do not like going for that earlier tribute, since they do really favor pushing up the lanes. At the same time, Erho has now been picking up a lot of bribe stacks, so we might see just before the next tribute the bribe coming down top of the Stone Bros. But until then, everyone's just going to settle back into their lanes. Level 7 will be coming around, but double healing ward, amplified healing, spin to win, yep, of course, and arsenal. Yeah, had to see, all right, if Eric's spinning, that means that the other 2 are off doing something. And they are going to pick up their stone giants, and the sea giants here, of course, is bribed out by Erhu, who's just going to go back to the top. We got a little level lead, and that window of 7 to 6 is about to close. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. The Guitar Hero coming out, Gust of Healing, Cleanse, And there's the counter Stone Bros there as well. Alright, so the Tassadar build today. Scion Fusion for the mana return, Healing Ward. Just curious where they were going. And Static Charge, so a little bit more of a damage DOE Tassadar today. You know, Static Charge, every time you attack something under the Psionic Storm, you gain you do a little bit more damage. It's actually not a terrible way to go if you need that extra damage. But Trummel, bottom lane, he's actually going to get caught out a little bit. Hit points were just plummeting. Mistakes could not actually seal the deal. And top lane was getting pushed in pretty decently. Some hit points now missing there. Vikings are just holding down the fort. Wow, Viking, Eric, you're so close to being dead, but McIntyre can't actually seal the deal. And these other two there are going to be finishing off those bruisers in the corner. I think that was a hook from Hans, but McIntyre and Erho, the body blocks are pretty real. Don't think they have this early game damage. There's no ammo in that tower, so McIntyre doesn't have too much to worry about. But it will be Stitches surviving, but it was the tribute going the way of the barrels. Trummel's still down here. Mistakes is still down here. We are now repelling the mid here against the Cursed Fury, and that leaves us to a push top here for the barrels. They're looking for level 10. They're about to grab it on the death of this tower. And there it is. Heroics are coming out once again. Will it be a mosh? Will it be the stage dive? It is the stage dive, so the global pressure is now very real here from Cursed Fury, saying that there's way too many ways to deal with the mosh pit stun, so not even going to bother with it. Nice stuns coming out. Belfray is going to be the first blood. Baylog actually dying. I think Trummel picked him up as they went bottom. Yeah, I think he split bottom with Eric, and Baylog actually got picked up there. Horsepants now could be in a little bit of trouble as McIntyre is going to try to take home the kill on top of Olaf, but there's the jump. Doesn't matter. We got the face melt going in. Cursed Fury is going to be enough, and now Hans getting body block. He will devour the creep. He's going to get that hit points back, but these body blocks are phenomenal from the Barrel Boys. They really are taking a lot of hit points away from the Taquitos, but Cursed Fury is now actually going to be the return damage. Horsepants in the back with two of his Vikings. Can't actually Viking ship. He doesn't have Olaf here quite yet. But on the backside of all that, Putrid Bile, the Tranquility, and the Rain of Vengeance were all popped. No kills, however, for the Taquitos, as they're kind of struggling now a little bit. It's level 10 to 11. They got the first tribute, but now they're down 2-1. McIntyre and crew, they're relentless on top of Hans. Hans now has to actually try to duck down south, but that is going to be a Stitches sandwich, and he is going to drop absolutely. McIntyre immediately, no time wasted, goes right there into Belfray. Great Divine Storm. Here's the jump here from Horsepants, but that's not going to be enough. There's a zombie all ready to pick him up anyways, and that is going to be another death for one of our Vikings. Level 12 to 10, third tribute up, and we just do not have the positioning really here from the Taquitos to contest this. We're not going to get a longboat either, because the third Vikings now spawn. He's going to have to walk literally all the way to the tribute, and it's going to be way too late really to contest that from there. So the Barrel Boys will get the first curse. Nice stun there on top of Mistakes. McIntyre is thinking about chasing it out, but ultimately does not have the support. That means top lane is going to start pushing in really hard. Mid should be okay as long as they stay there, but bottom is also going to be a big target. But of course, the boss will be on the docket as well. Cursed Fury, they're tanking out there with McIntyre, Blinks, and Trummel. They're likely to get this boss, clear out bottom fort, well, if Erho doesn't go down in the meantime, and then head on top. We do got Horsepants actually defending, one taking himself to Stone Bros because they know the boss is coming. It will be a very integral part of the defense, but here comes the stage dive. Will hit pretty much all of the team that was there. Nobody here to stop the Ravenous. Ravenous decides, yep, all right, it's going to do some damage. Did some building damage there as well. McIntyre and crew, they're just going to bust right through that gate. Blinks here with that stun. McIntyre still looking for the kill here on top of Belfray. We don't have the third Viking. There's not going to be a longboat here. And Blinks going forward. It's really hard to get a kill because everybody is so healy and shieldy and sustaining, and it's not going to be a kill as of yet. Boss will work on this fort. Level 13 to 12. We do got a talent tier advantage. It's going to be the Sixth Sense, double sprint, the Uber Rockstar, and what do you got at level 13 now with Brightwing? It's been a while since I've seen a Brightwing, so it's not rewind. Actually blanking, trying a really hard blank right there. Either way, we'll see what he gets in just a few. So, the curse went down. They did get top. They did get mid, and they did get bottom. They also got that boss all the way basically to the gate. So some really good damage overall for the barrels. Puts them up almost 2. Yeah, wow, over 2 levels between them. Sticky flares. Targets are slowed for the duration of Q. So there you go. Sticky flare is going to be coming out here for our Brightwing. And Barrel Boys say, we want a blue map. I'm going to be taking these bruisers away. And you just saw a little hook poke out there from Hans. Was not going to be a kill. McIntyre holding it down into the mid. Just the entire team is here except that one Viking. Why is Eric always split pushing? We have yet to see a Viking boat. Mistake's going to get actually locked down. CC'd. McIntyre is going to get that kill. And a straight up and down coming out from Curse Fury. They're going to be able to take down that turret. But man, the body block. McIntyre is saying, no way, Jose. Hans is about to become once again this Stitch's sandwich. We had the Ravenous go off, some big damage. Finally, a Viking boat will make an appearance, but Horse Pants gets immediately DPS down, and now the Body Blocks is going to take home 2 more Vikings on the back of that. And this is just not looking good for the Taquitos. They did get their 13, but they're about to be up against a level 16 team, and that means, again, a talent tier advantage going the way of the Barrel Boys. They get a keep on the back of this. They're likely to transition right up here to the boss because we still got 6 seconds on our Stitch. And it's just overwhelming pressure right now. The barrels are just keeping this early aim advantage that they're able to foster by not going to those early tributes and split soaking. They got to the 10 first. They're taking home these kills one after another. Good zombie wall is actually going to keep Horse Pants right there in it. But the level 16 talents, some blood for bloods and imposing. The Critter Eyes coming out as well. Red cannot get on top of that point fast enough. It will be the boss going the way of barrels. Horse Pants to die to Trumbull Poison on the back of all that. There goes Hans. The Stitches is down. McIntyre with these body blocks. There goes the Belfry, and that's going to be the triple kill and a bit on top of the Vala as well. A Rise Chicken's going to be making his way out, and the only surviving Viking is the Horse Pants Purple, which I think is Baylog. Yeah, it's Baylog. He has the sword. The Stone Bros from the Bribe, the boss and on the back of that 3.5 kill fight. The Barrels are going to take this keep and likely push to end. They have not suffered a single death. The Rising Taquitos might have won their amateur league, but they're into the big leagues now, guys. And right now, the Barrel Boys are showing them why they are deserving of their spot in the ESL majors. Where were you aiming, Hans? Absolutely no idea. But Hans will have time to think about it in death, or maybe not. He's actually going to get out of that one with some regenerative bile. Featured bile. Not surprisingly, no core damage, actually, based upon all of that. And that's just going to be a hook there on top of Trummel. Trummel uses the zombie walls right off the bat, but it's not going to be anything in terms of that he has to worry about. Did we have a Viking boat there? We did not. We've seen very few Viking boats, and gotta wonder a little bit here about the Horse Pants play. But we do got once more some Stone Bros to be gotten to the top. Looks like Red's gonna go pick up theirs as well. The Taquitos will have some push bottom. Vikings are splitting once more. Horse Pants are gonna come soak down here. He needs to try to bridge this gap for the experience. His level 18 to 15 is that's a pretty hurting scenario. 12 minutes in, 3 levels down. That is a little unfortunate for the Taquitos. And if they can get this curse, they're going to get themselves a good amount of experience. But look at McIntyre. No fear. Goes right on in. 3, 4 on 1, doesn't matter. The Rain of Vengeance not hitting anyone. And now, with that Metamorphosis, jumps right over top of that pile. Vala is going to down. We got this Ravenous looking for the kill on top of Horse Pants. Will it be enough? Nope. It's going to... Well, I actually think that's enough poison. No, the Norse Force coming out. Not even. We don't have Norse Force, so it must have been the Tassadar. Either way, off screen. Now Furion dies. Horsepower now could be in some trouble. A Rise Chicken is going to drop. Tassadar now dead. And this was the finish that we were looking for just moments ago for the Barrel Boys. Not a single death. Very impressive stuff from the boys in the Barrel, but they are going to take home this win in flawless victory and move on here to the finals, where Murlocs Inc. is waiting them here in the Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 12. phenomenal stuff from the boys in the barrels, and it was hard to say that Rising Taquitos was really going to take that game. I mean, the Barrel Boys have a lot of cred behind them. They've been in the scene for a long time, and this is just a team that recently has won the Amateur League. I mean, the Taquitos, this is their first ESL Go4 Cup, and hopefully they can take a little bit of that experience under their belt. That last pickup, though, the Lost Vikings, the Taquitos really like that. They really do draft it a lot of the time. And sometimes, or a lot of the time, they're successful. They got all the way to the semifinals in a 21-team bracket today. But very rarely did we see the Viking boats. There was very little split between them as well. Their split soaking capability was pretty much nullified. And if you can't get that early game advantage with Vikings, it is very painful to play with them as you were behind. So overall, drafting wasn't too bad, but once you get to that last Vikings pick, like, you have to have something to go with it, but just didn't happen. So the Taquitos will drop out of the tournament, and coming up next will be our first game of the best of 3 of the finals here for Cup number 12, as Murlocs Inc. will take on the Barrels. Hopefully, guys will join me here for FourCourtJester stream, and when we return, we will have the drafting process for our finals. See you in a minute.